Tonight on Y News. Former aide and driver of Senator Leila De Lima testifies in the House probe today and claims he was barred by the senator to appear in House hearings. Senate President Koko Pimentel asserts that the Senate cannot immediately order the dismissal of Senator Leila De Lima over allegations concerning Ronie Dayan.
The Department of Labor and Employment issues work stoppage order for all establishments engaged in the manufacture and sale of pyrotechnics and firecrackers. And Tropical Depression Marce has already made its landfall over Siargao Island this afternoon.
Y News begins now.
UNTV News and Rescue Command Center. This is Y News with Angelo Castro III and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. During the hearing today, Ronie Dayan admits that he did snub the previous House committee hearing despite receiving the subpoena. Grace Casin will tell us why.
If it was up to him, Ronie Dayan admits he really wanted to attend the House committee hearings to clear his name. He tried to communicate with Senator Leila De Lima many times through text to ask her opinion after his relatives received the subpoena, but De Lima no longer replied. This prompted him to order his daughter Hannah May to send a message to the senator. Based on the messages that Hannah presented to the committee, the senator advised her former aide and driver Ronie to go into hiding to avoid being humiliated in the hearing. The senator blamed House Speaker Pantalon Alvarez and President Rodrigo Duterte for digging into their relationship.
Sabi ko po, hindi naman po ba siya huhulihin kapag hindi siya pumunta?
Hindi po ba siya huhulihin kasi hindi siya pumunta?
Pag hindi po siya pumunta.
May sagot ba?
Meron po.
Wala yan kasi ano sagot niya?
Di ba nagtatago naman siya? Yun po yung sagot niya, Your Honor.
Hindi ba nagtatago naman siya, sabi niya?
Opo, Your Honor.
In Ronie Dayan's affidavit, he has detailed his 7-year relationship with the senator. Dayan has confirmed that Senator De Lima gave him 2 million pesos for the construction of his house in Pangasinan.
Ang totoo ay noong 2007 humingi ako kay ma'am ng 120,000 pambili ng lupa. Nasa 800,000 ang nanggaling sa ipon ko at yung 2 million galing kay ma'am.
Before 2014 ended, his relationship with Senator De Lima started to turn sour until he was forced to sign a resignation letter.
Sabi ko kay ma'am, pinagre-resign muna ako na parang nagpapalipas lang ako ng sama ng loob sa Pangasinan. Para wala namang talagang gulo, ayaw ko ng gulo, sabi ko. Pinirmahan ko yung resignation letter mga katapusan ng February 2015. Kung baga, pinwirsan niya akong mag-resign.
The committee granted his request for legislative immunity so that all his testimonies will not be used against him. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The affidavit of Ronie Dayan, Senator Leila De Lima's alleged bagman and former aide, matches that of self-confessed drug lord Kerwin Espinosa about receiving drug money several times for the campaign funds of the former DOJ secretary. Nel Marie Buhok will tell us why.
The 4-page affidavit signed by Ronie Dayan, the former driver security of Senator Leila De Lima, he detailed how De Lima ordered him to get money from suspected drug lord Kerwin Espinosa during the resumption of the House Justice Committee inquiry on the believed illegal drug trade. It matches Kerwin Espinosa's statement on handing Dayan the drug money.
Meron po akong natanggap na pera mula kay Kerwin Espinosa para kay Secretary De Lima mga 5 times po. ang perang ibinibigay inaabot sa akin nasa paper bag na maliit. Hindi ko po binibilang at hindi rin po sinasabi ni Kerwin kung magkano yon. Basta ito na yung pera kay ma'am.
According to Dayan, he met Kerwin 5 times in 2014. The first 4 were at the Mall of Asia in Pasay, while the last one was on November 22, 2014 at the Alexandria residence in Baguio City where Kerwin checked in. The said money was given directly to De Lima.
At yung panghuli ay sa Baguio naman po. Tinitext na lang ako o sinasabihan ako ni ma'am, punta ka sa ganito, magkikita kayo ulit ni ano. Ganon mag-isa lang po ako kapag minimit ko po si Kerwin. Si Kerwin po mismo ang nag-aabot ng pera at inaabot ko ang mga ito kay ma'am pagdating sa bahay. Sa mismong kwarto, automatic na po yan kasi pag mga ganong parang sinasabi natin na sekreto, hindi ko na inaakyat sa office niya, sa bahay na lang.
Dayan also narrated that when De Lima was already a DOJ secretary, he was with her thrice during the visit inside the New Bilibid prison. However, later on, he was just left behind inside the car because only the close-in security of De Lima were with her during the visits. They were Presidential Security Group members Jonel Sanchez, Jobert Ernie, and a certain Badong. Dayan denied that he was receiving money from former NBI Director Rafael Ragos.
Nakilala ko po si Director Ragos noon siya ay nasa NBI pa. Ako po ang ginawa niyan tulay para tulungan siya ilapit kay ma'am para sa promotion niya. Pero yung pong salaysay ni Sir Ragos na sinasabi niyang ako daw ang tumatanggap ng 3 million, 5 million, 1.6 million na pera ay hindi po totoo.
He also denied that he knows Bilibid inmates Herbert Colanco and Engelberto Durano and he received drug money for De Lima's campaign.
Dinay mo to lahat?
Dinay ko po lahat yan, sir, kasi hindi ko po napipersonal ang mga taong yan. Si Ragos lang po ang talaga nakakahalubilo ko at na personal ko na.
Meanwhile, Dayan clarified during the committee hearing that during his transactions with Kerwin, he did not know that he is a suspected drug lord and what he was receiving was drug money.
So yung panahon na yon, kilala mo ba kung sino si Kerwin?
Hindi po, sir, hindi ko po siya kilala na yung drug lords pala yung Kerwin na yon.
Kailan ka nagkaroon ng ideya na yung Kerwin ay drug lord?
Nung nitong pagkapatay lang ng tatay niya, sir.
Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The House Committee on Justice will release Ronie Dayan once he finishes giving his testimony to the committee. The Department of Justice will temporarily put Dayan on its custody while the recommendation of putting him under the Witness Protection Program is being studied. According to DOJ Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, he has ordered the National Bureau of Investigation to find a safe place for Dayan.
Until and after we have concluded that he is qualified, then pwede muna namin silang protektahan. But later, kung they are disqualified, then we are not going to extend the WPP protection anymore.
The Senate cannot immediately dismiss Senator Leila De Lima over allegations that she hindered her former driver and bodyguard, Ronie Dayan, from attending the House inquiry. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
There is a process to follow and Senator Leila De Lima cannot be immediately discharged from service. This was the response of Senate President Aquilino Pimentel III to the challenge of Kabayan Representative Harry Roque that the Senate should dismiss De Lima for allegedly preventing her former bodyguard Ronie Dayan to appear before the hearing of the Congress. The House of Representatives must first hold a mini trial to discuss if there is enough basis to cite Senator De Lima for contempt. According to Senate President Pimentel, the challenge of Congressman Harry Roque is is premature as there is yet to be a due process in the Congress. He says the House must first determine if the senator committed any violation before submitting a recommendation to the Senate.
We are still in this situation. Then how come there's a member of Congress telling the Senate what to do when the House has not even heard the incident, has not even charged her with anything, has not even come up with the final finding or solution or order? Very premature, kaya nga let us not be too excited about this.
The contempt case against De Lima could be through an ethics complaint which will be received by the Senate Ethics Committee. After this, the committee will check if it has jurisdiction to process the complaint and release a recommendation. Senator Pimentel says, despite allegations thrown against De Lima, the credibility of the Senate as an institution is not affected.
But there are 24 senators. We have our own lives. We have our own actions. Some probably beat a red light or cross in a no pedestrian crossing zone. Kasalanan ba ng Senado yan? Hindi.
Joyce Balancio, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The 1 million peso reward for the capture of Ronie Dayan has been given to an informant from La Union. The said amount was given by the Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption through a donation. Dayan was arrested by the authorities on Tuesday, November 22 at Barangay San Felipe in San Juan, La Union.
Siya nga ang tinuro ng Police Regional Office 1 na nagbigay talaga ng impormasyon. So wala na ibang dapat mag-claim niyan. Siya, hindi nahuli si Dayan kung wala yung impormasyon niya.
Former Region 8 Director, Police Chief Superintendent Asher Dolina maintains that he is ready to face the Senate hearing to clear his name. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Former Eastern Visayas Police Regional Director, Police Chief Superintendent Asher Dolina insists that he never saw Kerwin Espinosa before and never ordered someone to get payola or protection money from the said drug lord. The former regional director and lawyer says Kerwin's allegations against him have loopholes.
Hindi naman niya sinabi na binigay niya directly sa akin. Ang sinasabi niya, binigay niya kay Victor Espina yung cash or cheque na linagay sa isang account. Doon, bilang investigador, natutuwa ako because there is now a paper trail. Alaman natin kung sino ang naging cash ng cheque, kung kaninong account ipinasok yung cheque, kung totoo man yung sinasabi ni Kerwin.
Following the accusations, the official is seeking for an opportunity to appear before Senate hearing to help in order to clarify the allegations and clear his name.
Ang gusto ko is sana maimbitahan din ako ng Senate na makapag-appear doon. Kasi kung halimbawa, pailan ako ng kaso, yun naman ay aking sasagutin sa isang affidavit. Pero gusto ko rin sana kung pwede, maski sa ang venue, whether sa Senate or sa Congress, ako may indimbitahan. Ako'y magsasalita tungkol sa akin nalalaman, tungkol dito sa operasyon ng illegal drugs.
Dolina is among the 20 officials that the Ombudsman dismissed due to the anomalous procurement of 20 rubber boats worth 4.5 million pesos in 2009. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeals endorses the group of Dolina to be reinstated in their service and work under the Office of the Chief PNP or in the Personnel Holding and Admin Unit as they have not violated any law according to Court of Appeals. The Internal Affairs Service, on the other hand, will summon Dolina for a counter affidavit on Espinosa's allegations.
When we have received yung transcript ng minutes ni or we received the affidavit of Kerwin Espinosa, yung official copy, then it will just be fitting to inform General Dolina that there are allegations being imputed against him, and he is given now the chance to refute or rebut these allegations through either a counter affidavit.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
After being given a week to surrender, policemen involved in the killing of Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr. appeared today at the office of the PNP Internal Affairs Service. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
Three policemen named by Kerwin Espinosa as involved in illegal drug trade surfaced at the office of the PNP Internal Affairs Service to report to IAS Deputy Inspector General, Police Chief Superintendent Leo Angelo Leoterio. They were also the ones Espinosa's mentioned as involved in killing of Alvera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr. inside his detention cell. The three were Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos, Police Superintendent Santi Noel Matira, and Police Chief Inspector Leo Laraga. Leoterio has given them 1 week to submit their respective counter affidavits before they appear in the summary hearing. Leoterio says they are set to submit their counter affidavits next week. Meanwhile, Leoterio asserts they should exercise due process in investigating all policemen involved in illegal drugs. Thus, they cannot rush the process the way Senator Richard Gordon wants it to be, which might lead to early dismissal of the case due to technicality.
This can be dismissed just because of that. Sayang naman yung effort natin at saka yung expenditure natin. Now, we require them to submit, but under the NAPOLCOM Memorandum Circular 2016-2002, they still have 10 days. So if they subscribe to the 10 days, maghihintay tayo.
Leoterio says they cannot just decide on a complaint against them because it might result in dismissal from the service for grave misconduct that could affect their respective families.
We are talking about the lives of the policemen here also, diba? So, I think they deserve due process. It must be impartial, it must be objective. We are not crying for blood here. We are administering justice. Hindi naman ito yung parang revenge justice.
Leoterio explains that the investigation on one administrative case normally takes 30 days if the respondents cooperate accordingly, while about 90 days if they resist. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue, Krame.
The Metro Manila Council and the Interagency Council for Traffic did not favor the proposal of implementing the 3-digit coding scheme in addressing the heavy traffic, especially during holiday season. Joanna will tell us why.
Metropolitan Manila Development Authority Officer in Charge Tim Orbo says the implementation of the 3-digit coding scheme cannot be rushed because it might cause more problems rather than provide a solution. Because of this, the Metro Manila Council and the Interagency Council for Traffic recommends a comprehensive study on the proposal.
Ang tinitignan ho ng ating mga mayors, siguro kailangan na patibayin muna yung enforcement on the local level, on the community level. But definitely not for the Christmas season.
Under the said proposal, instead of 2, 3 numbers will be used for the coding scheme every day. The said action aims to decongest the expected heavier traffic with the forthcoming holiday season. The Association of Mayors, led by the Department of the Interior and Local Government, instead agreed on intensifying the clearing operations in different roads to remove anything that obstructs the flow of vehicles. Aside from Camp Aguinaldo, AYAC plans to open several other private roads that will serve as alternative routes for this holiday season.
Meron kaming tinitignan na dalawa na immediately. One is yung dito sa Jupiter Street. Tapos na yung college. Just a matter of seeking approval with the barangay. And then yung sa airport, yung sa may OTS. And then meron pa yung mga susunod na nakikita ho namin.
AYAC assures that they are currently creating and discovering various policies to solve the traffic crisis in Metro Manila. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
Next in Y News. The government sets to launch the Electronic Freedom of Information or EFOI facility.
And the Labor Department issues a work stoppage for all establishments engaged in the manufacture and sale of pyrotechnics and firecrackers.
Y News will be right back. Motorists are experiencing moderate to heavy traffic on major roads along EDSA. Aiko Miguel is at EDSA Quezon Avenue to tell us why live. Go ahead, Aiko.
Good evening, Diego. Traffic congestion is experienced in most of the major roads in Metro Manila. Motorists are advised to find alternate thoroughfares to avoid heavy traffic. Let's take a look first at the traffic situation along EDSA. There is a road closure at EDSA Muñoz intersection from October 12, 2 p.m. until further notice. Motorists are advised to take U-slot instead. Along southbound of Muñoz, Balintawak, and Kaingin Road, heavy traffic is experienced by our motorists. Along southbound of Main Avenue, New York, Nepa Q-Mart, Monte de Piedad, Aurora Boulevard, MacArthur Farmers, Main Avenue, and Santolan also expect heavy traffic in those roads. Heavy traffic is also experienced in both lanes of P. Tuazon. There is an ongoing Skyway Stage 3 works along Osmeña Highway and Quirino Avenue. Moderate traffic will be experienced. There is also an ongoing DPWH drainage rehabilitation at EDSA Tramo Split southbound. One lane is occupied. Expect heavy traffic in the area. Also, there is heavy traffic along northbound of Ortigas Avenue, SM Mega Mall, Shaw Boulevard, Reliance, Pioneer Boni, Guadalupe, Orense, Kalayaan, Estrella, and in Buendia. You can also view in your TV screen the live traffic points in different parts of Metro Manila. From Recto Manila going to Tutuban, there is a moderate buildup of vehicles and there is moderate traffic going to Divisoria. Going to Avenida, moderate traffic is also experienced because of slight buildup of vehicles. There is also a moderate traffic going to Legarda. Tomorrow, the number coding scheme of vehicles with plates ending in 9 and 0 will start at 7 in the morning until 8 in the evening. Meanwhile, motorcyclists traversing EDSA and C5 can now use the leftmost lane and the existing motorcycle lanes. So basically, motorcycles are now allowed to use two lanes. However, Diego, motorcyclists traversing Macapagal Boulevard and Commonwealth Avenue will still use the designated motorcycle lanes. And motorists can now use Camp Aguinaldo and Naval Station if they have applied for an application pass or a pass to pass through those said stations. And that is the latest traffic live. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Aiko Miguel, reporting live from EDSA Quezon Avenue. Starting tomorrow, the public may already have easy access to government data and information. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
If there are inquiries and requests to access document and information from agencies under the Executive Department, the public may utilize the website foi.gov.ph starting tomorrow. 15 government agencies are on board to pilot the beta system of the electronic FOI, including the PCO, DICT, DBM, DOF, DOJ, DOTR, DOH, PSA, and others. Other than this, requests have to go through the normal standard and paper-based process to the nearest government office.
So these 15 departments and attached agencies are on board to pilot the beta system of the electronic FOI. And starting tomorrow, citizens who have queries on FOI can lodge their queries online on the website, which is www.foi.gov.ph.
This is to operationalize the executive order of President Rodrigo Duterte to make the government transparent through the freedom of information. The eFOI facility will manage and monitor the information request. The concerned government agency has to process the request in 10 to 35 working days. Agencies that will not comply will be sanctioned with administrative charges.
Yes, the executive order says that the agencies who do not comply with the regulation may be administratively charged. But the executive order is unclear, so we leave it to the Office of the President to discipline these agencies who do not comply.
Meanwhile, from 166 exceptions, the FOI exceptions list or list of information that cannot be accessed by the public is reduced to 9. Among this are the information covered by executive privilege, national security, international relations, law enforcement, protection of public and personal safety, information deemed confidential for the protection of the privacy of minors, victims of crimes or the accused, information on official capacity or performance of official functions, prejudicial and premature disclosure, records of proceedings which are confidential, confidential matters under banking and finance law, and other exceptions to the right to information under laws and regulations. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Some businessmen expressed support to the alliance of the Philippines with China and Russia. Joan Nana will tell us why.
Some businessmen are optimistic that the decision of President Duterte to forge an alliance with China and Russia will bring a positive impact on the economic status of the country. They believe that the new ties will boost the trade and commerce sector, especially that China and Russia are among the countries who are highly developed in terms of businesses. In the Asia Logistics Summit 2016 held yesterday in Pasay City, businessmen declared their support on the president's move that is expected to enhance the country's economic status.
But what I'm saying, in terms of business perspective, I like what he's doing. They're intelligent, they know what they're doing. And I think the current administrator saw it. And when I'm talking with a businessman from this country, they know that it's a way. There's a way for you to really be able to deal with them properly.
I think it can only work for the better. There's no disadvantage in it.
Despite their support, however, some businessmen still believe that the government should still maintain its good relationship with other countries, such as the United States of America.
So I think it's important that we embrace new partners and keep our old ones. We shouldn't choose it as an either or, right? We definitely should be doing more business with China, and at the same time we should be valuing the relationships we've had with our other trading partners.
It was earlier announced by President Duterte that the Philippines will withdraw its ties with the USA in exchange of its alliance with China and Russia. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
In response to the hearing today, in a statement this evening, Senator Leila De Lima says that she did not watch the entire hearing, which she considers a spectacle that diverts public attention away from more important issues. She adds that the inconsistencies of statements given in the House inquiry will speak for itself. De Lima says she refuses to indulge her accusers by addressing their lies, but that she is ready to face her detractors at the proper forum. As a woman, she says it breaks her heart that her personal and private relationship have become the subject of public and Congress ridicule. Finally, De Lima says it is a shame though she trusted fell into the trap of power, deceit, fear, and intimidation, and that they had to lie and twist trust to trust themselves. The working groups of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the United States Armed Forces will have another round of discussions on joint military drills. Brian De Paz will tell us why.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines is determined to reduce the number of military drills with its U.S. counterparts. This is the statement of Brigadier General Restituto Padilla following assessment that the number of joint military drills between the AFP and the U.S. military downgraded from 260 to 258.
Ang ating mga working groups sa Armed Forces at saka sa ating mga counterparts sa US ay muling uupo at pag-uusapan ito para maibaba pa ng husto. So may mga exercises dito na kinakailangang tanggalin or pagsamahin dahil liliit ito, kaya yun ang mga pag-uusapan nila.
Padilla asserts the transparency of all AFP military exercises as they have undergone the appropriate process before approval.
Remember, everything that we do with our counterparts are monitored and are listed and requested for approval through the Council of Foreign Ministers. So there is nothing that we are holding secret. All of these are transparent.
The AFP confirms that the Balikatan exercises conducted annually will focus now on disaster response, humanitarian assistance, and counter-terrorism. Furthermore, the AFP Chief of Staff General Ricardo Visaya says the U.S. Armed Forces respects the decision of President Rodrigo Duterte.
They respected us and as I have told you, we can always change some exercises and based doon sa guidance ng ating presidente, it will be more on counter-terrorism.
The meeting between the working groups of the AFP and the U.S. Armed Forces will meet again on December 2016 and January 2017. Brian De Paz, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue files today a criminal complaint against a small-town lottery operator based in Santo Tomas, Batangas. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue is now running after an STL operator in Santo Tomas, Batangas for almost ₱1 billion in unpaid taxes. BIR sued Batangas Enhanced Technology Systems Incorporated and its responsible officers for tax evasion, alleging that the company failed to pay income tax and value-added tax from 2007 to 2015. The operator's tax liability has reached ₱959 million for a period of 9 years. This is the first tax evasion case filed under the Duterte administration.
They've already given us the directive to pursue the rate program. We were also not just sitting still during the time that we were not filing here. We were actually putting together cases.
BIR will also continue running after the tax evaders sued by the past administration. They encourage the public to pay correct taxes or risk being charged in courts.
Kung hindi ka magbayad ng tama, meron kang kinikita, pwede kang makulong. So yun yung sinasabi ng batas.
Roldan warns tax evaders not to be too complacent because the government will ultimately catch up with them. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Energy Regulatory Commission Chair Jose Vicente Salazar assures that there is no news blackout in connection with the recent death of former Director for Bids and Awards Committee Jose Francisco June Villa. His death is being linked on the alleged corruption practices inside the agency. The ERC chair says all officials of the agency were instructed to fully cooperate with the ongoing probe by the National Bureau of Investigation and the Commission on Audit into the alleged anomalous transactions that were mentioned in a supposed suicide note of the late director. Salazar, as well as other officials of the Commission, remain hopeful that President Rodrigo Duterte would grant them audience to explain their side of the issue against the allegations. Apart from the NBI and COA, the Senate Committee on Energy is also set to conduct a probe on the matter in December. Supreme Court Associate Justice Presbiterio Velasco Jr., the chairperson of 2016 bar examinations, denied the rumored leakage in this year's bar exams. Through Supreme Court spokesperson Attorney Theodore Te, Velasco says his office has investigated the allegations in social media that questions for commercial law and criminal law were leaked and it was found to be false. He also denies that the Supreme Court en banc is considering the cancellation of this year's bar exams or the administration of the affected subjects.
These unfounded reports that are being irresponsibly circulated in social media only undermine the efforts of the bar chairperson to safeguard the confidentiality and integrity of the bar exams. The chairperson assures the 2016 bar candidates that the examinations in commercial law and criminal law will not be cancelled or re-administered. He requests the help of the public not to add more stress and anxiety to the examinees.
Despite President Rodrigo Duterte's inclination to implement a nationwide firecracker ban, its imposition may not yet be done this year. Victor Cosaria tells us why.
Citing lack of material time for its imposition as reason, President Rodrigo Duterte pointed out that a nationwide firecracker ban will not be imposed for this year. He says it is already too late to impose such measure since those in the firecracker industry have already purchased their materials.
Everybody
As investor, have invested or has invested. But it would not be fair. The least that I can say is, or I do, is just to issue a warning that it's very, very dangerous.
However, the president is still inclined to implement the ban in the coming years. He has implemented a total ban on firecrackers during his incumbency as mayor of Davao City and wants to replicate it to the whole nation. According to the chief executive, it is part of his sworn duty to ensure the safety of the public, and the use of firecrackers has been causing injuries and deaths in previous years.
But that decision should not go beyond April, May. Kasi ba too late na naman. Has to be decided, but I would like Congress to act on it first. And if they do not want it, well, I will see if I can do it with executive order.
Meanwhile, the president stresses that the owner of the firecracker manufacturing factory in Santa Maria, Bulacan, that exploded the other day, causing the death of a woman and her 2 kids, should be punished under existing laws.
Well, one is that they have to face charges. That's negligence actually. That in the realm of law, it's called tort and damages. Kasi hindi walang mamalis yan, but there is the negligence in handling the explosives inside the factory. So there's always the liability of negligence.
Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
The Department of Labor and Employment issues a work stoppage order for all establishments engaged in the manufacture and sale of pyrotechnics and firecrackers. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III has ordered regional directors to assess establishments' compliance with the occupational safety and health standards and general labor standards. The department says it is inclined to declare the existence of grave and imminent danger to the health and safety of workers with a projected increase in production of pyrotechnics and firecrackers during the holidays. This is also in view of 2 accidents this year, including the explosion yesterday that killed 3 persons in Santa Maria, Bulacan.
Coming up, Tropical Depression Marce has already made its landfall over Siargao Island this afternoon.
An Australian successfully enters the Guinness Book of World Records for the highest basketball shot.
More from Y News after this break. Tropical Depression Marce had made landfall over Siargao Island as of 5 p.m. today. It is now traversing northern Mindanao and southern Visayas. The cyclone has maintained its maximum sustained winds of 45 kilometers per hour and gustiness of 55 kilometers per hour. It moves to northwest direction at 29 kilometers per hour. Tropical Cyclone Warning Signal number 1 is raised over Romblon, Puyo Island, Calamian Group, and southern part of Mindoro provinces. In Visayas, signal number 1 is also raised in Biliran, southern part of Samar, southern part of eastern Samar, Leyte, southern Leyte, Bohol, Cebu, including Bantayan and Camotes Islands, Siquijor, Negros Oriental, Negros Occidental, Iloilo, Capiz, Aklan, Antique, and Guimaras. In Mindanao, Surigao del Norte, including Siargao Islands, Surigao del Sur, Dinagat Islands, Agusan del Norte, Agusan del Sur, Misamis Oriental, and Camiguin were also under signal number 1. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, says there are expected rains and gusty winds over the said areas that may cause flash floods and landslides. Marce is expected to cross central and western Visayas and to exit the landmass of Palawan by Saturday before heading to the West Philippine Sea. Rush hour trains in Japan's capital Tokyo slows down, delaying commuters. Danny Tixon will tell us why.
The Japanese capital of Tokyo on Thursday is hit by its first November snow in 54 years. Starting this Thursday, slowing rush hour trains as residents slog to work wearing heavy coats and boots in a city far more accustomed to earthquakes than to snow. The last time snow fell in November in Tokyo, John F. Kennedy was President of the United States, and singer Bob Dylan, who this year won the Nobel Literature Prize, had released his debut album just months before. The snow, which began as sleet around dawn but turned to snow soon after, was sparked by an unusual cold front spreading over the Tokyo area that sent temperatures down to near zero. Average temperatures at this time of year are highs of 14 degrees centigrade and rose as far as 20 degrees centigrade as recently as Sunday.
予報が雪だったので降るのかな、でも11月だしなと思ったんですけど、びっくりしました。いやびっくりしましたね。ちょっと早すぎる。ちょっと早すぎる。
Though Tokyo, which is on roughly the same latitude as the U.S. city of Raleigh, North Carolina, does see snow at least once a year. It usually falls in January or February and rarely accumulates for long. As much as 2 centimeters of snow is predicted for central Tokyo by the time the snow stops, likely by early afternoon, according to the Japanese Meteorological Agency. Danny Tigzon, UNTV News and Rescue, Tokyo, Japan.
Workers begin water pumping operation from a flooded mine site in East China. Dulce Alarcon tells us why.
Workers have started to pump water out of a flooded coal mine on Wednesday in an effort to rescue 7 trapped miners in Yichun city of East China's Jiangxi province. The water drainage operation started at 10:45 p.m. Wednesday, with 3 professional rescue teams standing by.
就是包括毛沙村，出现了地面开裂，还有局部塌陷，还有房屋也有开裂。
More than 620 rescuers and 3 large pumping equipments have been deployed for the rescue mission, according to Li Yongjun, deputy head of Yichun Yuanzhou district, where the accident took place. However, rescuers have been facing challenges in their mission, with neighboring villages going through geological transformation.
由于地质结构比较复杂，每抽一段水都要考虑到周边情况的变化。 所以要做一些相应的观察，最后再决定下一步救援方案。
More than 240 villagers have been evacuated from the area. 21 miners were working underground when the flooding occurred in the coal mine at 11:10 p.m. Tuesday. 14 have been rescued so far. Dulce Alarcon, UNTV News and Rescue, Jilin, China.
The first case of H5N8 bird flu has been detected in southern Sweden amid a recent outbreak of the disease in Europe. The Swedish Board of Agriculture said on Wednesday, November 23rd. H5N8 was confirmed in a wild bird in the Skane region of the southern part of the country. Further tests are being carried out at a poultry from a farm near Helsingborg, which have already been shown to have the H5 strain of the influenza virus. Bird flu has been found in a number of countries across Europe in recent weeks, including Sweden's Nordic neighbor, Denmark.
The 90th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade showcases a throwback of its 1927 original. Clarence Shaughnessy will tell us why.
Giant's balloons are inflated in a quiet street in New York's Upper West Side on Wednesday, November 23rd, ahead of the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The iconic lineup of floats will have familiar characters such as Pikachu, Hello Kitty, and SpongeBob SquarePants, although some characters have new makeovers.
Charlie Brown is brand new this year. He's clutching his kite. He's had no success in flying it, so he's just holding on to it.
Also new in this season is Troll Balloons, which will feature 4 characters, and a color version of Greg Heffley from The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This year marks 90th anniversary of the parade that started in 1924. The parade was suspended from 1942 till 1944 because of the World War II. To celebrate, a throwback to the 1920s with the classic characters that started it all has been prepared.
Felix the Cat was the first balloon that set the stage for all of our balloons. Felix was the first character balloon to appear in the parade, and that happened back in 1927. And back in the 20s, we didn't use helium in the Macy's parade, so Felix came down the parade route hoisted on sticks, and we've recreated that exact balloon and bringing him down the parade route that way. We didn't actually start using helium until 1928.
Before 1927, the parade was a procession of live animals from the Central Park Zoo that reportedly scared children. The holiday celebration, featuring enormous balloon shaped like cartoon characters high above Manhattan, is scheduled to be broadcast nationwide in the morning of November 24th.
I like the Big Duck, and I like Duck Diaries, and I like Trixie, and I like Hello Kitty.
Oh, they've been so excited all day. It's just, I mean, you can't imagine to wake up or, to look outside the kitchen window and see a Hello Kitty balloon.
Clarence Shaughnessy, UNTV News and Rescue, New York, USA.
An Australian successfully enters the Guinness World Record. Nina Bascon tells us why.
An Australian has set the Guinness World Record for the highest basketball shot, launching the ball from the top of a huge Swiss dam. Derek Huron, a 28-year-old from Perth, flew all the way to the Swiss Alps with his How Ridiculous team members to score the impressive record from the top of Basingan Dam, one of the highest dams in the world. The Australian group performs different tricks and sporting antics and shares them on social media. The video shows off the beautiful landscapes of the Swiss mountains, as well as a successful launch from a high of 118 meters or 593 feet from the different angles and perspectives. Keith Bellori of How Ridiculous say they couldn't believe they had achieved their goal at just the third attempt.
The moment you throw the basketball and it leaves your hand, you've done everything that you can to get that in. Everything will just sort of go still, everything will go quiet, there's just this ball free-falling, all thanks to gravity, there's impact of wind, there's spin, there's all different factors, and yet we're there, we've thrown it.
Nina Bascon, UNTV News and Rescue, Melbourne, Australia.
A retired schoolmaster in China has found ways to make a living out of panda dung. Dulce Alarcon will tell us why.
A retired schoolmaster in northwest China's Shaanxi province has successfully made paper out of panda dung by using traditional Chinese paper-making skill. Liu Xiaodong, the retired schoolmaster living in Tiliang village of Xi'an City, capital of Shaanxi province, says his experiment with panda dung was inspired by villagers who used cow dung to make paper with the traditional Chinese paper-making skill. He collected panda dung and started his experiment and finally made his first batch of panda paper with a fresh bamboo scent.
这就是熊猫粪便。熊猫粪便是熊猫吃的是粥子，看它吸收指数系数30%，70%它就排泄下它直肠动了。这种是一个是从色上讲就是比较黄绿，第二个就是从味上讲有粥子那种清香味儿。
As the traditional paper making invented by Tai Lun in the Han Dynasty uses no chemicals, Liu's products are also eco-friendly and rich in cultural value.
过粥子是贵水，这个熊猫粉呢，熊猫是贵宝，就是咱们是用咱们的贵水，再采用咱们的贵宝做原料做出的是，那就价值，那就是不是这个经济价值了，它是社会价值。熊猫子，不上市不卖，只是把它当做一种贵重的礼品赠送别人。
Dulce Alarcon, UNTV News and Rescue, Jilin, China.
A zoo in Atlanta launches an event in accordance with a Chinese tradition where netizen participation is encouraged. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Fans
Fans around the world are being invited by Zoo Atlanta on Monday to vote on possible names for giant panda twins born on September 3. The 11-week-old twins, born to Lunlun and Yang Yang in the United States, will be named on December 12, their 100th day of life, in accordance with Chinese tradition. Zoo Atlanta has set up a website to help fans vote for one of 7 sets of names for the cuddly siblings. The 100-day celebration follows an ancient Chinese tradition whereby when a child reaches his or her 100th day of life, he or she has survived the risky fragility of infancy and may be considered on track for a successful future. With fewer than 1,900 in the wild, giant pandas are an endangered species, facing serious threats from habitat fragmentation and habitat loss via deforestation, according to Zoo Atlanta's website. Giant panda status in the world was upgraded from endangered to vulnerable by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, in September 2016, but the species remains reliant on conservation programs. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The defending champion AFP Cavaliers will strive to get a crucial win over the Ombudsman Graph Busters to fortify its position heading to the next round eliminations of the 5th UNTV Cup. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
Nice dish, Pascual. Bilis, ano? Alvin, back to Eugene, forced to put it up and score.
Defending champion AFP Cavaliers vowed to recover from their 2 consecutive losses.
Championship caliber namin dapat ibalik namin eh. Yun eh. Tingin ko makakabalik naman. Puro veterano naman yan eh. Kaya lang konting pupush ko pa ng konti.
This is the first time the Cavaliers lost twice in a row.
Sabi ko sa kanila, next game, win or win. Ibig sabihin, we can't accept the fact na kailangan matalo pa kami for 3 consecutive losses.
Boss, kukuha ng bola. Pinasok. Caceres. Kaliwa. Yes!
Meanwhile, the Ombudsman Grapbusters are determined to clinch their 3rd consecutive win in their match against the Cavaliers. The Ombudsman team has won twice in a row after 2 losses during the early period of the season. The Grapbusters admit that the defending champion is a strong opponent, thus they will prepare much, especially because their ticket to the 2nd round eliminations is on the line.
Kaya naman, lahat naman kaya. So we will work hard na lang para mas maganda yung gagawin namin.
Should the Ombudsman win, they will elevate to the 3rd place in Group A of the UNTV Cup Season 5. Each team in Group A has one more game on December 4. Prior to this, the Judiciary Magis and the HOR Solons will face each other and the PNP responders against the GSIS Puris during the 3rd game. The triple header will be aired on Sunday on UNTV at 2 p.m. Bernard Dadis for the UNTV Cup Season 5.
Those are the reasons behind the news. November 24, 2016. I am Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Darlene, Basingan.
Because we need to know. We will always ask why. Thank you for watching. Why News.